Few games' endings have left as strong an impression as FF7's. In addition to concluding a plot of unprecedented depth, it marked a departure from how previous entries in the franchise handled their finale. Director Yoshinori Kitase felt that FF5 and 6 had indulged in drawn-out, overly sentimental endings, so with FF7, he decided to change up the approach. Instead of showing a series of scenes closing out each character's arc, FF7 cuts right to the credits in the midst of the game's most uncertain moment. Some 7 minutes later, players are treated to a scene set 500 years in the future. According to Kitase, this final minute of footage makes it clear our crew saved the planet, but provides little detail about what happened in the meantime. While Red 13 and his cubs are clearly alive and well, the fate of humanity is left uncertain. Were they deemed unworthy and returned to the planet by Holy, or are they still dwelling in safety somewhere, away from the ruins of Midgar? As the scene fades, we hear the gentle sound of laughter, but whether these are the voices of living children or echoes of the deceased preserved in the livestream is anyone's guess. Asked about the ambiguous nature of FF7's ending, character designer Tetsuya Nomura responds that multiple interpretations was something the staff had in mind when they made it. He notes that even among the game's staff, opinions differ on crucial elements like the nature and whereabouts of the Promised Land. And so, for the better part of a decade, debates raged about the fate of humanity in FF7's ending. The frenzy abated somewhat with the announcement of FF7 Advent Children, a cinematic sequel set 2 years after the events of the PlayStation original. Clearly, Holy didn't spell the end of mankind if Cloud's party was alive and kicking, but perhaps something else would in the 498 years that followed. While Advent Children's opening scene would eventually settle this question as well, scenario writer Kazushige Nojima spared no time in delivering an answer of his own. In an interview with Japanese gaming magazine Dreamaga roughly 2 years before the film's release, Nojima casually summed up the 1997 game's ending. Though people often say it's difficult to understand, the message is pretty straightforward. Basically, because of the efforts of Cloud and his allies, the planet is still around, and smoke is rising from Midgar, which means there are definitely still humans alive. The theme was quite simple. Of course, any FF7 fan worth their salt will tell you no such smoke exists in the post-credits FMV. And indeed, just moments later, art director Yusuke Naora chimed in to inform his colleague of this. "Oh, I just remembered. I may have forgotten to add that smoke in." The rest of the staff present, including Kitase, Nomura, composer Nobuo Uematsu, and Advent Children co-director Takeshi Nozue, all proceeded to laugh raucously. Fortunately for Nojima, this oversight was corrected in the opening sequence of Advent Children, which features a re-rendered version of the original game's ending with Red 13. Plainly visible above the ruins of Midgar are wisps of what appears to be campfire smoke, proof that humanity has weathered the centuries since Sephiroth's defeat. It's interesting to consider how conversations around FF7's ending would have shifted had this detail originally been included. Certainly, a lot of ambiguity would have been lost, and players might have found the finale less stimulating. At any rate, fans can now rest easy knowing humanity's survival is assured. Or can they? In 2009, Square Enix released a remastered version of Advent Children called Advent Children Complete. This extended cut features new scenes, updated visuals, and one very interesting change to the opening sequence with Red 13. That's right, the smoke above Midgar is gone. How could this be? Is it the result of yet another oversight? Or is there something else at play here? Did the expansion of the FF7 compilation, newly supplemented by Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core, lead the series writers to change their minds? For now, we can only speculate. If the FF7 remake project doesn't provide an answer to this mystery, perhaps the game's developers will someday clarify it themselves. Until then, we'll just have to keep our tinfoil hats fastened tight.